Alright, hello everyone, welcome to Common Solution. I'm your host, Jasper House, and today I'm gonna talk about solitude. I wanted to make this video because I've been living in a community center for like 3 months, constantly surrounded with other people. I had to share my room with other people, and now I am in a apartment by myself, so I have a lot more time by myself. And I've been thinking a lot, like what solitude is, like what it's been to be by myself again, which I'm more used to because I'm more of an introverted person. But I know that a lot of people have troubles with this, and to be honest, like it's not necessarily super easy for me as well. So I've been noticing that I've been, like when get a lot of like short-term gratification with like eating some snacks or we're brought up with a lot of technology, so there's a lot of distractions there. Yeah, I'm just trying to center in. Yesterday I was doing some meditation, and then I was hearing that people around me living in other buildings. I'm in a flat, so I mean in other rooms, and yeah, that make me think like we think that we are alone, but actually we're not. We're always surrounded with other people. What we not always notice this, um, but what Krishnamurti said was, if you like dissect the word alone, it's like all one. So that's the realization that people need to get into their minds, like need to get internalized, because we are all connected, but we don't experience it that way, and that creates a state of separation that will lead to feeling alone, because you can be surrounded by many people but still feel alone. So I am alone, but I don't feel lonely, um, because I do think that ultimately I have to find peace in myself. I have to be comfortable with who I am, and this is quite a journey. And I wouldn't say that it's for me like very easy to, but I do think that it is very important to establish a relationship, not just with others, but especially with myself. And as a guideline, it's just very important that you have a certain craftsmanship, um, a certain creative outlet. For me, it's mostly researching because I love learning and I love teaching. So this keeps me on my pace, and it gives me like a therapy. But for other people, it's different things. But if you don't have a creative outlet, then it's very difficult to be by yourself, because most of our creativity is adapting to other people and other situations, and if they're not there, then we feel lonely because we don't know really what to do with that same creative energy. So some advice that I would give, like in a general statement, is to experiment, to try new things. Maybe if you have already found your art form, then experiment more with that. But if you don't know what your artman craftsmanship is, then just experiment and try new things out, because you will not find it if you don't try anything new things. Because we all have something. We all have certain talents. We all have certain qualities, but we need to cultivate them. And something that I've mentioned in a podcast, in the previous podcast, what I did with Hielke de Vries, is that we need to put into a message, especially in these times that we're in. You might not have the complete same view as I have, but I still want you to express yourself, and express yourself honestly, and that's the ultimate creative art form, is to be honest in any moment, and that takes a lifetime of practice. This is something that I've learned from Bruce Lee as well. Like he's told, like it's not that difficult to act a show, to show some cool moves, and maybe do a backflip or whatever, but be honestly yourself. That's real art, martial arts, and that's what I want to share with people. Like just try to be who you really are, and first before you can do that, you have to know who you are, and this is something that you cannot find in other people. You have to be by yourself, and I think it really speaks in these times where we are forced to be by ourselves, which is for a lot of people very difficult, because they are in need in a constant supply of dopamine, and they have a lot of like addictions, which are all part of our ego program. Um, and I'm not, I also have certain addictions, but I try to keep my addictions as positively minded as I can, as productive. Like one of my addictions is learning. One of my addictions is teaching. My other addiction is learning to listen to music. So these are things that consume me, but consume me in a good manner because it's a therapy. It's we as humans we cannot like it's very difficult. We were very rigged that we are constantly looking for the same patterns so we can recognize ourselves. And we are never like constantly going outside of a comfort zone. So if it is difficult for you to be by yourself, that means you have to do it because there are some things inside of you that you have to bring out, and this is where creativity steps in to give it an outlet. Um, because we know we need to be comfortable with ourselves in these coming times as well, and we need a lot of adaptability. We need a lot of self knowledge because if we don't, we will let astray maybe other people, especially government. In my political view is that government will take disadvantage, and also corporations and big inst, big interest. They will take advantage of people that don't know themselves because we can all be fostered into groupthink, into group identity. Um, I could say I'm a Dutch person. Somebody could say they're Christian. Another person could say that they're a Muslim. But does that mean that you have a not a capability of thinking for yourself anymore? That's the main thing. Are you still able to criticize your own group, or are you not willing to step away from there if it's necessary? Can you not find your own strength in being yourself, being independent? If you want to have a relationship with a certain person, it's important that you are capable to be by yourself because even if that relationship falls away, you're still here and you have to deal with yourself and you have to go through life by yeah establishing a relationship with who you really truly are. And something that is very important to mention is like you can say like okay, this is just egotistical talking, like a relationship with myself, I'm not important. But our relationship extends eventually. We are social creatures, sure. There's even relationships with beings or our inner being that goes beyond five senses. Um, and this also has to be consciously uh, built, this relationship. Um, but it's all I think it's all an act of surrendering and vulnerability because that's where we really grow. If I'm by myself and just like I said, like there's many troubles, like constantly looking to chat with somebody or eat some snack or let myself be distracted looking to Instagram, which is fine by that time to time. But um, ultimately, if we're not comfortable with ourselves, I think we will drag a lot of our mess, if I could call it that, into other relationships with other people. And that's not what we want, We want to be self reliant, self directed, autonomous. We want to be sovereign human beings that are capable of thinking for themselves and making up their own minds and be wise individuals. But at the same time, we also have an obligation to our community, and we can only take this obligation if we first truly know who we are, because otherwise we will tell other people, yeah, this is what we should do, this is what we should do, based upon what we heard from other people, based upon the identity that other people gave to us. Like, oh, you're such an amazing person, oh, you're so talented, oh, you're so wise. But have you ever taken the time to really duck into yourself and come up with your own answers, with your own questions, with your own insights? These are some things that can only be done through ceremony, through prayer, through meditations. These are not things that can be done by just listening to other people. For me, this is common sense, and I guess it's also I almost wanted to call this platform Common Sense Underground or Common Underground Sense, because I think a lot of things that will be normalized in the future will be regarded as common sense, but now it's just way too radical. People was like, I don't want to be by myself. I've always used to be with other people, and that's what I experienced the last 3 months before I came here in my new apartment. Being around it with other people that are constantly looking to other people for their identification. But this is a trap. This is a big, big trap. Nobody can tell you who you are. That's something you have to discover and cultivate for yourself. Each conquers the young cult is the individuation process. In many mystic traditions, they call it the initiation process. And this is a process that I can give some guidance. I can give you some advice, but ultimately, you have to make the steps yourself, because no one's gonna hold your hand, no one's going to protect you if you need it the most. It's only yourself, so you have to become self-reliant. You have to construct the temple within. You have to realize that life is sacred, and you have to trust in something that is bigger beyond yourself. And that's what I do. I trust in something bigger than myself, and sure, I have many problems. I have sometimes some fears, some difficulties. I'm a growing individual, but I ultimately recognize that I'm part of something bigger, something I cannot put into words. It's a very profound understanding, which not a lot of people have, unfortunately. But we're in an age of awakening. We're becoming in an age of Aquarius where we have to work together. We have to look into each other's eyes and see each other's potential and grow together. But we also have to be by ourselves, be comfortable with ourselves, because only then we can bring something really of value to the table. But if we not, then we'll pass on our misfortunes, our misconceptions, our misidentifications, and ultimately we have to know that our ego identification is very flexible. Sure, I have an ego, and I sometimes think I'm amazing even if I'm not, or whatever, but I know that it's ultimately not me. It's just something that I hold very flexible. At one moment I'm a poet, another moment I might be a mystic, another moment I might be a philosopher, another moment I'm a writer, and another moment I'm a teacher, and another moment I'm a skateboarder, and another moment I'm a good guy that talks with a lot, and another moment I'm more introverted. But none of these things are really, they're just descriptions. They're suitable to a certain moment in time, in space, suited to that, yeah, like I said. But this is not who we are. That's something I wanted to get across. So be comfortable with who you are. Take time by yourself. If you have the capability, go into nature. Will give you a lot more insights than this video ever fucking can. But it's ultimately like, man, we should take time by ourselves. Like, it's so difficult, even like if you're introverted. But if you don't know any creative outlets, something that really sparks your soul. I was yesterday watching the movie Soul from Disney. And yeah, it's like sparked on it as well. But the underlying structure of reality is meaning. And meaning is only being transmitted by yourself towards other people. But it's like an interplay. Like if you're just surrounded with other people, you will not find meaning. But if you're only by yourself, you might have meaning, but you're not able to share it with other people. So there should be a balance. You should strike a balance between like being by yourself and transmitting this energy of like confidence and relaxation to other people that need it more. But you should spark them to be more by themselves as well. And it's not wrong. Like it might sound to some people that it's wrong to be socializing or surrounded with other people, which it is not. Like, it's something that I definitely have to learn a lot more. Um, but like, if you want to be live a meaningful life, it's very important to live by yourself, because like people will fall away in your life. Maybe somebody dies, or maybe somebody travels along. And do you still have some dependency on this person, or are you capable to just move on because you established the temple within, and you know that you are sacred, like everything is. And a lot of people are not really ready yet for this perspective. So take it as you may, of course. Um, I'm not going to force any of my beliefs on other people. Ultimately, I just want to spark your own search. Um, Look into life a lot more deeper than what you're presented, because nothing is as it seems. Um, there's some things that I've learned in my own life, uh, but I'm still like trying to integrate the lessons, and I think this is a very good therapy for me, just to get my message out there through my platform. Because that's why I call it common. We have to do it together ultimately. And I'm connecting here with people around me. People need a lot of my attention, but ultimately we have to know, where does attention come from? It comes from, well, maybe that's something you have to answer for yourself. Where does attention come from? Because if you know that answer, you'll be capable of being in solitude. Because I can give you a lot of answers, but ultimately you have to tap into your own wisdom. And I can give you some good questions, but don't expect, or good questions. I could give you some well thought out questions, but you have to deepen these questions, because they will reveal some answers, but they will also reveal even more questions. And it's a continuing search, continuing search to find the truth. And that's, at least for me, and that sparks me to be in solitude. And just recognize that your problems are not just your own problems, but we are all sharing it. Like, if I'm sitting here and I feel anxious, that doesn't mean that it's my anxiousness, but I pick it up from people that are around me as well. And I'm processing this energy, not just for myself, but also for the people that are around me, because we're all, in the end, connected. We all share our pain, we all share our love, we all share our difficulties. And if we not, then we will suffer. Or we will suffer alone. It's better to suffer together than by ourselves. I don't know, what do you guys think of that? But yeah, so the final question is, where does attention come from? Where does attention come from? So, eternal love, thank you. I will put some links in the descriptions on Solitude by Academy of Ideas, because he can explain way better than I can. But it's a growing thing, and I just wanted to deepen the lesson of what he gave as well, and share my own perspective on it. If you are interested in like taking lessons with me on Preply, I'm available. I also have my own website where you can do donations, and also get into contact if you want with me. Yeah, and we also have Discord, and we're on different platforms. I'm thinking of something to add on to this video, but I don't know. I think it's enough for now. And yeah, so have a great day. Peace be upon you, and hope you find some good solitude moments. And